Thank you very much. I give the floor to International Service for Human Rights on behalf of other NGOs. Madam Vice President, this third UPR cycle comes as Peru has gone through its most serious political crisis since the return of democracy. Recently, the government illegally pardoned former President Fujimori, who is guilty of serious crimes against humanity, a situation that led to major social and political polarization that affects our fragile democracy. The pardon highlights the limited progress in the field of justice, as well as the return of impunity. It affects the families who have been victims of the criminal apparatus of the dictatorship, as well as the possibility of accessing justice for hundreds of thousands of women sterilized against their will. We recall that thousands of victims still have no defense and remain forgotten, including women who suffered sexual violence during the civil war. In the middle of this crisis, human rights defenders are increasingly vulnerable. In December, there was the assassination of Napoleon Terrio, a human rights defender from Chapari. Those situations are an affront to the defenders of land and territories, of trade unions, indigenous peoples, among others. Despite this, as various states have stressed, the Peruvian state continues without implementing a policy of recognition or protection for human rights defenders. On the contrary, the state has stepped up criminalization of social protests. Madam Vice President, besides formal acceptation of the recommendations of the UPR, we demand that the Peruvian state ceases the political exploitation of mechanisms such as the pardon to Fujimori, which affects our rule of law and the legitimacy of our democracy. 2. Facilitate trials and access to justice, compensation, and closing the circle of pain for the victims within a reasonable time frame and with decent conditions. 3. Develop and implement a policy of protection for human rights defenders, as well as specific urgent measures to reduce the risk to the work that they carry out. Thank you, Madam Vice President.